Hey guys, Joe Mayo here, and today we are headed to Beatty, Nevada. Beatty is about a 2-hour drive from Las Vegas, and just outside of Beatty is the ghost town of Rhyolite. Now, I could spend all day at Rhyolite and bring you a 2-hour video, but we're going to concentrate more on the two most intact buildings left, which is the Cook Bank Building and the Railroad Depot. And if you stay tuned to the end, I've got a little bonus for you coming up there. On the other side of Beatty is a old closed brothel. And in front of that brothel, there's another story to it, but there's an airplane that kind of crashed there. So we'll have a little video of that too. So anyway, let's go to Rhyolite and check out the Cook Bank Building. The Cook Bank is the most iconic building in Rhyolite and is one of the most photographed ruins in Nevada. John Cook and his brother started the John S. Cook and Company Bank in Goldfield, Nevada in January of 1905. Later that same year, they opened a new branch in Rhyolite. The bank's first location was in a rented building on Main Street. After buying this lot on Golden Street, construction of the Cook Bank Building began in the spring of 1907. One of 4 banks in Rhyolite, the Cook Bank Building was by far the finest. Built of poured concrete, the building was 3 stories tall and had a basement that housed the post office. The interior was finished with marble staircases and mahogany accents. It boasted modern conveniences such as electric and indoor plumbing. Despite its opulence, the Cook Bank was open less than 2 years. In the summer and fall of 1907, a financial crisis, often referred to as the Knickerbocker Crisis, caused banks across the country to go bankrupt. In 1910, the Cook Bank was closed and John Cook had sold off all of the building's fixtures. Since the bank's closure, the Cook Bank Building has appeared in many movies, including The Airmail, The Arrogant, Cherry 2000, one of my favorites, The Island, also one of my favorites, Delusion, Ramona, The Reward, Wonder of the Wasteland, Six String Samurai, Rough Riders, Roundup, Bone Dry, Ultraviolet, and more. What remains of the Cook Bank Building today is just a shell of its former glory. What's interesting about this building is it's only 115 years old, yet it looks like it could be 1,000 years old. So what happened to it? I'm guessing that the quality of concrete they used in those days certainly was not up to today's standards. Otherwise, it would be in a little bit better shape than it is. And the red bricks up top, I love that because I've been coming to Rhyolite since 1984, so 40 years now, and I've never been able to see a view like that. I've always had the ground view. But one interesting thing and one curiosity for me is those red bricks circled the entire border of the roof, and there had to be tens of thousands of those. Yet you don't see them on the ground, so where are they? Are people picking them up as souvenirs and taking them home? I kind of wonder. If you have any clue, put a comment below. I'd love to hear it. And right in the center of the building there, what would appear to me are the original vaults. They've certainly held up well, and there's another window at the very bottom there. The very bottom floor, the basement, was the post office, so I'm going to guess that was their safekeeping area as well. And again, I just love this view. As I said, I've been coming to Rhyolite for 40 years, and I always the ground view. I've never been able to get a aerial view, especially closer to the red bricks up top here. And I think that's just a cool shot of the top of the building here. And heading down the street, passing the Cook Bank building for the last time, we're headed to the Rhyolite train station, the most intact building in Rhyolite. And what a sight to see. The Las Vegas and Tonopah Railroad Depot was completed in June of 1908, around the same time the Rhyolite began its slow decline. Within months of its completion, more people were leaving Rhyolite through the depot than were arriving. The railroad turned a small profit in 1908 but lost money every following year until it was finally dismantled in 1919. The tracks were salvaged, but the depot was left to stand as one of the few remaining buildings from the Rhyolite boom, primarily because it could not be moved elsewhere. In the 1920s, Rhyolite enjoyed a small revival through tourism. Westmoreland bought the depot in 1935 and beginning in 1937 operated as Rhyolite Ghost Casino. The drinking and gaming were conducted downstairs, while a different type of hospitality, reportedly staffed by working women, was conducted upstairs in the old ticket agent's quarters. Like the town before it, the casino had a relatively short life. The onset of World War II and the associated war effort, including fuel rationing, completely drained the area's economy. By the 1960s, the building had passed to Moreland's sister, Mrs. Herschel Heiser, who operated the lower floor as a museum and gift shop for tourists. Since the 1930s, the depot has passed from person to person, eventually ending up with a barrack mining company. In October of 2000, the Bureau of Land Management acquired the depot along with most of the Rhyolite town site from the mining company and land swap. At some point before the swap, a group of local citizens replaced the historic depot roof with a modern composite shingles. Although not historically accurate, the shingles have helped preserve the building in its relatively good condition that you see today. At the time the depot was built, a local newspaper claimed it was the finest in the state. Today, it is one of the best preserved examples of early 20th century mission revival train depots in Nevada. This is the Beechcraft C45G. The brothel owners had a challenge. It was that you could win a night with a lady of your choice. You just had to parachute out of the airplane and land on a mattress that was placed in the center of a large star painted on the desert floor. On the morning of May 28, 1977, the aircraft departed Davis, California. The flight consisted of the pilot and 3 passengers. It was destined for a small airstrip at the brothel. According to the official NTSB incident report, at 11:20 a.m., the aircraft experienced an engine failure, resulting in a loss of altitude and causing the plane to collide with power cables. Despite the aircraft being deemed a total loss, all 4 occupants walked away with only minor injuries. Despite their ill-fated stunt failing miserably, the owners decided to make the best of the situation and leave the plane near the sign to serve as a spectacle to attract people from the road. The wreckage has sat here ever since.